Back, folks. We've got something really special for you today. We're actually going to be doing an Ultimate Kit install. Yes, I said Ultimate. Ultimate Kit install in a new color on the Asus ProArt PX13. This is the GoPro edition, so this is the top of the line spec, 128 gigs of RAM, that monster AMD 395 chip. I love that chip. So we're going to be releasing this color pretty soon. We're releasing Ultimate, Pro, and Standard or Essentials kits for this particular device, as well as we're going to be back releasing the Ultimate Kit for the older non-GoPro PX13. So let's get into it. I already cleaned the surface of dust, debris, and oils. You're going to want to make sure that you really dust this, because I found that the surface on this device does tend to attract dust. And especially when you have the GoPro edition and you've got these little slots here, you can get stuff that's stuck in there. The color that we're going to be installing is going to be released shortly. This is called Vampire Red. It is a satin color. It's really, really nice looking. I think it looks awesome on this. I did some test cuts when we were doing the design on this and in this color, and it was fantastic. The GoPro edition does have vertical slots. If you're watching this on a non-GoPro edition, you won't have these slots because the other lid is just solid. So disregard any instructions around the slots if you're watching it without either you didn't get the slot cutouts or you're watching it for the other PX13. They did change the ProArt logo this year on the PX13, so we now have a cutout version of the ProArt logo. If you want to get that, you can get it without the slots and the ProArt logo. You can get it without the ProArt logo and without the slots as just a solid color. And we are doing a wraparound this year for this device. So that's going to be available on the Ultimate Edition, or Ultimate Kit rather. Pro kits are going to be just your standard top lid. All right, so the first thing you want to do is actually, let me take a step back. I already retacked this. You want to make sure you retack the tack tape that comes with these slots and on if you get the logo cut out, because it can come dislodged during shipping. So make sure that that's tacked, and then you want to make sure you're carefully peeling. There's a lot of angular cuts here, so you don't want to just rip the vinyl off the paper. And you want to kind of peel with the slots if you have the slots. And I'm going to peel from this side to make sure we're not overstretching it. Let me just pre-peel up here. There we go. Like so. Now you want to begin by aligning the hinges, around the hinges and on the corners. Just doing a spot tack, we're not tacking it down yet. There is a little bit of stretch built in. That's to make it easier to install, and so you're not as prone to getting bumps, or we call them fingers. So you just want to do just a light little tack on the corner there, a light little tack on the corner here. One came loose. The surface on this lid they've got some sort of coating on it so it doesn't immediately stick. All right. Now, if you've got the slots, this makes this a lot easier because you can actually work each angle across the slots to make sure they're aligned. If not, it's fine. You start with the corners. You can see there is a little bit of stretch built in. Right, and I'm just aligning to the slot, or I'm aligning to a slight reveal around the corner, and I will show that to you as a zoom in a second here. And then I'm going to go to the opposite corner and do the same thing. Checking the slot alignment, checking the corner alignment. Now just to give you a zoom in, like look at how that corner has just a slight bit of reveal, and again that's for longevity because that's a friction point. Now if you have the slots, what you can do is you can work down the vinyl and just kind of pull things taut rather, and just spot align each of the slot tops. If you don't have the slots, what I would recommend just doing is just giving a tug on each side to alleviate any slack in the lid. Oh, this fell right into place. Okay. And now I'm gonna do the same down here. Actually, I'm just align this corner here. Okay. So we build in this stretch intentionally because these slots can get pretty wavy. And then now that you've got your initial tacks all set, you want to take your squeegee and we're going to work from the center outward. So I'm going to work from the center up here. My alignment must have come up. There we go. And then from the center downward. All right, and then as an added measure, because again, they do have some sort of coating on here, I like to work my finger along each slot just to kind of give it some extra tack. Excellent. Okay. Now we usually save this to the end on other designs, but for this one, we're gonna peel up our tack tape here, and you wanna peel up against the slot. If you peel across, you could lift the vinyl up. You wanna keep it nice and low, and just kind of peel it back like so. If you do get a little lift up like right there, you can just kind of push it down with your finger. All right. Next, we're going to work each of the different flaps here. Oh, I must have gripped this by accident. And you're going to take your finger and these are sharp corners, so you want to make sure you run across the edge, back and forth, and just kind of tuck the flaps over the edge. Don't go too fast, because you can end up trapping air at the corner. And that doesn't look very good. You just want to tuck. Like so. Let's do this one here. Just going to crease it and tuck it. This is a very thin lid. We almost debated not doing a wraparound. But after I tossed this in my bag for a week with a wraparound on it, and it was fine, so we ultimately decided to offer it. Don't worry about the actual corner flaps just yet. Okay, and now the back. Excellent. Okay. All right. I'll get rid of this for now. And now each of the corner flaps, you should be able to just kind of work around the corner, and it should line right up against the side it connects to. There's a small amount of reveal at the edges of the corner flaps. That's to give you the ability, if you want to try to stretch it slightly to fit. You don't want it overlapping, so we didn't want to go too close. It gives you a little leeway with alignment. All right. Lastly, we're going to do the hinge pieces. The hinge pieces come with the Ultimate and Pro kits. So for this, I like to just align it with a little bit of gap when you're looking straight above. Like so. And then you can work your way down around to the other side. in there. And then repeat the process up here for the other one. And now we're actually going to pop this one open and go into tent mode to do the other exposed side. This, I like to use my tweezers, because then I can just line it right up against one of the other edges. There we go. And voila! You've now got a top lid installed on your GoPro Edition PX13 or your regular Edition PX13. Howdy folks, welcome back. We've moved on to the interior of our Asus GoPro Edition ProArt PX13. We're doing the ultimate interior here in Vampire Red, which is a new colorway that we're launching, probably in conjunction with the designs for this laptop. So I'm just going to go ahead and start by wiping off the oils and dust and whatnot from the surface here. You also want to get the sides, because if you're doing the Ultimate Kit, the sides are covered as well. If you're doing the Pro Kit, then it'll just be the face. There's a lot of little intricate kind of cutouts here on the Ultimate side, so you're going to want to be careful. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pre-peel this little notch in front of the trackpad covering. So I'm going to get in here and just kind of peel that up a little bit, and then I'll do the same over here. Okay. Maybe. There we go. You don't want to inadvertently tear at that. And of course you want to peel from both sides of the palm rest. Similar to our other instructions for palm rests, you're just going to do a loose alignment. We're going to do the left palm rest and then the right palm rest, and then we'll take care of the middle section there. So when you're doing your initial alignment, actually I'm going to pull this away for a second. You want to align to this area right here and this area right here, and then up along the edge on the trackpad. So the first thing is this little area right here. It's hard for me to look at this without looking over it. So that's just a loose alignment. There's an ever so slight reveal. We're talking fractions of a millimeter here. Okay. Give that a little spot tack. Go ahead and squeegee on up. If you're on the non-GoPro edition, you won't have this, I guess, this special little rubber nub. You'll have just the regular tiny circle rubber nub. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and just start pre-creasing this right here just to get some of this out of the way so that it's not just flapped up. There we go. I'm not tacking it yet, but just wanted to fold it down to get it out of the way. All right, now we're going to do the same on the other side. There is a slight stretch built in to this design here because this is a very thin piece. So you want to align that corner in front of the trackpad. And then the other display standoff, I guess is what it is. Make sure it follows that line. There we go. And then I'm just going to do a little crease here. When you're doing the creasing, you want to make sure you work back and forth gradually. There is a bit of a chamfer on this design, and so air can actually get trapped on that chamfer if you're not gradual with it. That's why you see me just, you know, lightly working back and forth until it folds over. Okay. Now let's do that area in front of the trackpad. And so what I like to do is I like to take my tweezers and just gently move it so that it's aligned with the bottom edge of the trackpad. And then you can do a tack. And again, there's only one edge to go over here, but you want to make sure you still go gradually so you don't get any air trapped at the corner. Excellent. All right, now on the bottom, I'm actually going to flip this up so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to work back and forth here. That mic hole should fall into play. Don't do this section yet. We're going to do this last, similar to how we did in front of the trackpad. Just work this back and forth, like so. And then I can't really turn this on its side yet, but I will in a minute so you can see what this looks like. The controls and/or ports on the side should fall into place, but you want to make sure you take a look at it as you're doing it to get them aligned well. And then you want to end up just curling this corner flap over. And then the other side. Okay, now we'll do the bottom here. Same as what you did in the trackpad, just take your tweezers, just walk the alignment. Because it can get a little wavy. There we go. Excellent. All right. Now we're going to flop this up on the side here. I didn't tack that right. Let me just fix that a little bit. Okay. Now these, you're actually going to start by aligning the ports, and then we're going to fold over towards the keyboard deck. Now there's very slim or thin sections here that it has to tack to, so I'm actually going to use a little bit of heat to get some better adhesion. Just align the ports there, like so. Give it an initial tack. And then very lightly and very briefly, I'm just gonna heat up that edge there so that we can get some tack. And similar to what you did on the sides here, we're just gonna work back and forth, fold it over. Like so. Let's flip it over. Same thing. And a little to the right, but that's okay. Initial tack. Let's blast it with some heat. And fold it over gradually. There we go. Okay. 2 pieces left. We're going to do this rear piece first. I'm actually going to put this in tent mode. You're not going to be able to see this direct on because it's easier for alignment if you're just looking at it straight on. You want to peel from both sides so that you don't stretch it. And then I'm going to align around this hinge first, and do an ever so slight stretch pull over to this hinge. And don't worry, I'll show you what the alignment looks like in just a moment. Just a little tug. The tug is intentional to make it easier to install. Once you've done the tug, I'm just going to use my tweezers here to make sure that I'm aligned in the middle. There we go. All right, same thing here. We're just going to fold this guy over, fold this one over, and fold this flap over here, and then the one on top. And then when you're doing the corner flaps here, I'm just going to make sure that we use tweezers because it is curved, so you want to follow the curve. Like so. I might be able to do this without tweezers on this side. There we go. Look at that. Excellent. So this is the kind of alignment you're looking for. All right, last up we've got the trackpad. This is super technical. So many steps. Just brush it off here. Just step one, there's a little bit of a reveal, so we put it down with that little reveal at the bottom there. Tack. And then we tack it down with the squeegee. And then for your ProArt wheel, you can just push that in. All right. Let's wipe this off. And voila, you have installed your Ultimate and/or Pro Kit. Oh man, it looks great in this red. Welcome back, folks. It's now time to do the bottom portion of our Ultimate Kit here on the ProArt PX13. As always, you're going to want to start by wiping and cleaning the surface of any dust, debris, or oils. If you're watching this install technique is going to apply to the Ultimate and Pro Kits. However, the Pro Kits are slightly easier as they don't have quite as much coverage. They actually stop at this edge here. So you've got a piece here, a piece here, a piece here, and then a piece here versus the Ultimate Kit, which has more wraparound edges and slightly more difficult. So you want to start by peeling each of these different pieces individually here, or little tabs individually, because you don't want to inadvertently stretch them. I like to peel to halfway through the label section, and then move to the other side. Actually, I'll peel this one first. There we go. Oopsie. All right. Just do like a rough alignment. The first initial alignment points are kind of the speaker and foot on each side, but we can also use the label cutout as a guide to make sure we're spacing this correctly. So I'm gonna do this around the speaker here. Like so. I'm just gonna pull this taut a little bit. And then on the other side, give it a slight stretch to get alignment around that speaker grill. Nice. Okay. Now you can work the squeegee up on the main section here. Don't worry about this little thin strip just yet. So for the thin strip, you can use your tweezers to just kind of nudge it into place before tacking it down. There we go. Now along the bottom here, we're just gonna use the screw holes as guides for spot tacks, because it should distance itself appropriately up against the foot. Just work across, leave the corners slack right now. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Excellent. Now on each side piece, there's a very minor stretch to each screw. That's intentional, just to kind of make it easier to install, and in case you, while peeling it, some people tend to peel really aggressively and can inadvertently stretch it, so we build that into the design. Do the flat face first before creasing over towards the side. And again, leave these corners kind of loose for now. So now for the corners, because there's a curve here, I like to tighten this up a little bit with some heat. And then you can push down around the corner. It shrinks the vinyl a little bit and makes it a little bit easier to grip. Not a ton of heat, just enough. Perfect. Hugs those corners nicely. All right, I'm gonna do another quick brush with my towel here for the main back section. I like to use the screw hole and the vents as alignment points. It should just fall into place. And last but not least, we've got this back strip here. This one's super simple. Just like to align the screw hole and then work each side separately. And there's a slight little crease that you have to work over. And voila! You now have I have a Vampire Red GoPro Asus ProArt PX13. I think it looks super slick. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.